From Slomsky Field on the campus of Glassboro, New Jersey, the Gloucester County Educational Network presents high school football. Tonight, it's the Group 1 semifinals as the Glassboro Bulldogs host the Pennsville Eagles. Hello again, everyone. Rob Christ along with my partner, Fred Schwartz. A beautiful night here in Glassboro. Cool, crisp, beautiful football weather for a big game. The upstart Pennsville Eagles taking on the Glassboro Bulldogs. Pennsville has been a surprise all season long. Everybody expected Glassboro to be here, but the story in South Jersey this year, Pennsville, a 9-0 mark, and tonight they're going to try to repeat what they did earlier in the year.
Absolutely, Rob. Pennsville's been very, very successful in the fact that they got a very, very good group of kids. When they came in as freshmen, that made a dedication that they were going to be champions. They've done it. They put the time in the weight room. They've worked hard. They bought into Ryan Wood's system, and they are definitely here to play tonight.
For the Glassboro Bulldogs, Herb Nelia has done just a tremendous job here with the program. They have become a true South Jersey Group 1 power. Last year falling a little bit short, but tonight they have the James brothers returning, and they hope to make a return to the South Jersey Finals.
Yeah, right. Once again, Rob, right on the target. Glassboro's reached that elite status where they don't rebuild, they reload. And every year they come out with the outstanding athletes, and they know how to win. And they're always going to be in a game, and they're always going to have that desire to come back no matter what happens. And I think that'll play in their hands this evening.
Well, for the Pennsville Eagles, it all starts with their quarterback, Ken Emmons. Anytime he's on the field, you have an opportunity to score points, and they're going to need points tonight.
You're right, and they run the offense that everybody loves. They're going to run the spread. They're going to put receivers out all over the field. They're going to run their plays as fast as possible. He's an outstanding individual, student, but also a great athlete, outstanding wrestler, so you know he's a competitor.
You know, Glassboro has been beset by injuries throughout the season. They're just starting to get healthy, and who could say it'd be a more advantageous time for this team? The James brothers are a key part of this offense. P.J. James getting looks from East Carolina, Marshall, Tulane, major Division I schools. He's going to be the man to watch tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the premier backs of South Jersey. Probably if you're looking at, he's one of the top 3 backs in here. When he couldn't play in game 1, big change for a Group 1 school because the drop-off can be tremendous at times. Look for him to have not only a big game today, he could be the difference in the game.
Well, it should certainly be a great game tonight. Stick around. We'll have the kickoff for you in just a moment. Welcome back to Glassboro High School, about to get underway. South Jersey Group 1 semifinals. Glassboro will be kicking off. Pennsville will be going left to right on your screen. Glassboro in their traditional maroon and gold, and Pennsville with the white royal trimmed in gold. Pennsville, the upstart team, 9-0 this year in South Jersey. One of their victories, of course, coming against this very Glassboro team. Perhaps the surprise of the young season, and at this point, no one's surprised as Pennsville has illustrated that they have the mettle, and we'll see tonight whether they can do it twice to Glassboro. The return to the 30-yard line, still on his feet now, across the 40, finally cut down. A fine return made by Pennsville's Ryan Hawthorne. And Fred, he is a man to watch tonight.
Absolutely, he was a big performer against Audubon last week. But you know, Rob, right off the bat, special teams are so much of an important factor. Pennsville's showing right off the bat they're ready to play tonight.
Well, Ryan Hawthorne, as we mentioned, a big part of this Pennsville offense, and Pennsville will go right to that spread offense that you spoke about.
And Rob, I'll tell you, the one thing they say is they want to tire Glassboro out as much as they possibly can. Get them running, get them moving around the field.
First down and 10, and the handoff to Hawthorne. He'll cut it, and he'll pick up maybe a yard or two just about at midfield. There you see the temperature. It's a cool, crisp 46 degrees. That will continue to diminish throughout the night. Wind 7 miles per hour west-northwest, humidity at 44%. We do have a bit of a lighting issue, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Emmons back to pass across the middle, overthrows his intended receiver. That'll bring up a third down. Emmons trying to hook up with Matt Drummond.
And one of the things that Coach Nelia said before the game is they want to get Pennsville in third and long or second and long situations, because then they can tell exactly what Pennsville's going to do. That's happened already.
Hawthorne, the big part of this offense, did not go to Pennsville last year. Had played as a freshman, transferred out, transferred back in, and in many ways he's been the difference. Emmons keeps, and we're going to have a holding penalty here. So even though it looks like Emmons has made the first down, this play's coming back.
But if you're a Pennsville fan, the one thing you liked was the fact that Emmons really showed some mobility there. And of course, all of us remember he broke his fibula early in the season. So it's nice to see him back playing and moving.
So this penalty will be costly. Undoubtedly, Glassboro will take it.
I know Ryan Wood said earlier before the game he wasn't worried about Pennsville scoring. He said, we're going to score. The biggest thing he wanted to do was keep possession of the football as they're going down the field, and we don't need a 3-and-out for Pennsville to start the game.
That is a costly penalty, essentially 16 yards, because it is a spot foul. So we're looking at approximately 3rd down and 21. Emmons, deep drop again, under pressure, and he's sacked all the way back to the 25-yard line. And that holding call will play a huge role here in field position now.
Yeah, absolutely, because everyone in the park knew that Pennsville was going to have to pass. In came a 3-man rush that time out of Glassboro, and they were still able to get to the quarterback. So very good defensive line play by Glassboro.
Clint Herman to punt it away. Chris James back to receive the punt, and it's short end over end, bounces at the 46, continues to roll, and James will simply allow it to roll all the way to the 27-yard line. So that was quite an impressive punt, a 41-yard punt with no return, and Glassboro will take their first possession deep in their own territory.
And Herman's one of the unsungs in South Jersey. He's leading South Jersey in field goals. He has 6 of them this year. Coach Wood thought he could be a very good weapon if it's a close game this evening.
And conversely for Glassboro, they have yet to attempt a field goal this year. So that special teams will certainly play a role tonight, whether it be on the kickoffs or perhaps if it goes down to the wire. We saw the kickoff return early. Of course, the field position negated by that holding penalty. Let's take a look at this Bulldogs offense. They'll start out of the I formation. Very potent offense now that the James brothers are back and close to healthy anyway. Inside handoff and a nice pickup here of about 7 or 8 yards. And you talked a little bit before about how Coach Wood not concerned about necessarily keeping Glassboro off the offense, but really off the scoreboard, but keeping them off the field.
And that's exactly right. He thought that the most important thing was to try to tire out Glassboro, and that's the way they could do it on offense. But we got our first look at PJ, who's averaging 13 yards a carry, had 1,700 yards last year. He's closing on 1,000 this year, despite missing a lot of games.
Again, another inside handoff, and this will be more than enough for the first down. Stephen Clement attempt to just hand it off to the James boys.
And if you look at the statistics for the year, Glassboro averages almost 300 yards a game on offense running the ball, 55 passing. So this is what we're going to see.
Well, last week, both P.J. James and Ryan Hawthorne accounted for over 200 yards in offense. So we expect to see some scoring, and Fred, whenever we talk about we expect to see defense or scoring, of course, it always turns out to be the exact opposite.
That's always the way it happens.
First down and 10. Glassboro at their own 41-yard line. Clement under center. Again, will hand it off, and this time not much there. You know, one of the things I was surprised with was Herb Nealio, and speaking with him prior to the game, talked about the domination that Pennsville really had in their first matchup in the pits.
Yes, and we all know from coaching that that's what decides football games. He was very disappointed in that, and he said this time it's not going to happen.
This is an experienced Glassboro staff who's had a taste of the champagne, so to speak. They've been on top of the mountain, and they want to return. Second down and 9. Again, out of the I formation, Clement will keep, and he's caught from behind, and another penalty flag comes down, but a nice tackle made by Ken Emmons.
You know, it was interesting when we talked to Herb. I said, does it help to play a team for the second time in the season? And he said, yes, when you lose. Because he said you get a second opportunity at him, and you realize maybe your game plan wasn't exactly perfect that day.
Yeah, that's funny how that works. You know, sometimes you think that you have the advantage because you you have the chip on your shoulder more or less, but conversely that team has beaten you once, so in theory they have an advantage as well. So all comes down to X's and O's.
And that's why he said he thought the first drive of the game was going to be very important to them, because they can right down the field and score, that memories are all erased.
Yeah, that's a good point. Second down because of the holding penalty. This will come back, so we'll call it second down and 17. Ball spotted at the 35-yard line. Again, out of the I formation. Clement underneath center. Play action pass. Sets up, throws underneath, tipped, in and out of the hands of one Bulldog into the other. Well, if that's any indication, they're in good shape, and now we have a penalty flag thrown, and it may be a late hit.
And I'm sure that's exactly how they drew it up on the playbook, just to go from one hand to the next. That's football.
That's why you have a tip drill.
That's right.
It's going to be a face mask.
Wow, so the play just became 15 yards longer. Here we see it again. You can see the tip off number 6 and right into the Glassboro receiver. Let's watch. There it is. You can see he delivered a forearm shot right to the head and caught part of the cage, and that's the 15-yard penalty.
So Clement unable to hold on to it, and Alisea takes it in. Big pickup here, and the Bulldogs are rolling. First down and 10 at the 23-yard line. Actually, the 27-yard line. Again, inside handoff, all the way deep into the secondary goes P.J. James.
And our viewers could really get a good view of the acceleration and the strength of P.J. James. He was through that hole before the linebackers had any time to really react to the ball. Watch it again. Watch how quick his first step is. Boom. Good vision as he's coming through. And a game-saving tackle right there, or he'd been in the end zone.
Well, nice tackle made by Monty Cruft. First down and 10 at the 12. Glassboro on their first drive, assisted by that big face mask penalty. First and 10 at the 12, again working out of the I formation. Clement underneath center, and again he'll hand it off. James cuts across the green, and he will take it down to the 7. Pickup of 5.
And again, what we mentioned before, Glassboro is definitely controlling the line of scrimmage. They're definitely right now driving Pennsville right off the ball. James is doing a very good job of delaying his action a step to see where the hole was. Probably made the wrong choice there, but he's still down in tight.
Clock moving inside of 7 minutes remaining. In this first quarter, Rob Christ along with Fred Schwartz here on the Gloucester County Educational Network. Happy to bring you South Jersey Group 1 playoff football action. James, very close to the end zone. He should have enough for the first down. And right now, it is the Bulldog offensive line that is really flexing their muscles in the trench. And
you can tell they watched that game tape from game number 1 where they were handled, and they're going to make sure it doesn't happen again. Here we see it again. Watch the up front blocking. Watch where the Pennsville defenders are being driven back, and James can just easily walk through. He's reaching all the way past the linebackers into the secondary.
What a push by that offensive line. First and goal, full house backfield for Clement, and he'll keep, and Clement will be in for the touchdown. Glassboro strikes first.
Well, just if you're Herb Nealio, it's exactly what you wanted to do. The ball was on the ground except for one particular time, and you did what you do best, drive the ball down the field to score.
Well, that has to be a little disconcerting to Coach Wood and the Pennsville Eagles, as Glassboro made it look easy. Again, assisted by a bit of fortune with the tip and a face mask penalty. On to attempt the point after. It's Clement, the brother of the quarterback, and his kick is good. It's Glassboro on top, 7-0.
And once again, I think this game is far from over, because Coach Wood told me that Glassboro scoring doesn't bother him. They'll come back down the field and score. We could be in for an adventure tonight.
Well, here you take a look again at Clement and that big push from the offensive line. No problem there.
Yes, and best play at the goal line, because you don't take any chance for a fumbled exchange.
Well, you mentioned that Coach Wood not necessarily concerned about Glassboro scoring. This is a team that's 9-0, so there's no doubt that they should have confidence coming into tonight, coupled with the fact that they've beat Glassboro.
And that's the other thing he said. He said he's very confident in his kids, that they're very adaptive. He said last week we were down to Audubon. We didn't panic at halftime. We just came right back in and said, once we get our offense going, we'll be fine.
That was a game against Audubon that was very close. Kickoff, a squib kick taken at the 20-yard line. Taking it back to about the 33. Pennsville will start first down and 10, their second possession of the night. That Audubon team came back very resilient, had an opportunity to win that game, had a pass picked off in the end zone when they were driving. And again, a lot of people discounted Audubon, but I think it was a wake-up call to this Pennsville team. We'll see how they respond coming out.
Well, beyond that, too, Audubon had 4 losses. They lost to West Deptford, Haddonfield, Woodbury, and Paulsboro. 4 pretty good teams.
Absolutely. 4 teams that are in their semifinals. Of course, the winner of tonight's game will play the winner of Paulsboro and Woodbury. We had that game earlier for you here on the Gloucester County Educational Network. And West Deptford and Haddonfield, probably the 2 top teams in the Colonial this year.
I would think you're probably right, although you never know what happens when Woodbury and Paulsboro get together.
Quick swing pass. A lot of room here for Pennsville's Colton Newsom. Newsom with more than enough for the first down.
And Colton Newsom's been their leading receiver on the year so far, 17 catches, that's number 18. And he averages usually 12 yards a carry when he catches that pass. He got the first down, Pennsville's offense is rolling.
You see Pennsville running the spread offense. You see this is in vogue now, Fred, in South Jersey High School, but more so on the Group 4 level.
Yeah,
Again,
it's hard to run.
Newsom falls incomplete. Not only that, you really have to have a tremendous amount of depth at the skill positions.
And then what basically most of these kids are probably playing both ways, and you have to get half your practice time to defense and offense. The spread, you just have to constantly run. Timing is everything on the spread.
Absolutely. Second down and 10. Emmons again continuing out of the shotgun. 4 receiver set. Quick drop, flushed out of the pocket, throws, and you see the arm strength of Emmons.
You know, Robert, we were talking about that. Washington Township's tried to spread, went away from it. Shawnee tried to spread, went away from it. The only team that's had, I think, pretty decent success for it has been Eastern in the last years that they've had.
Although this year, of course,
we all have those years. I understand those years.
First down and 10. Ball at the 40. Glassboro jumps. Did they make contact? Or were they drawn off?
You know, it's kind of interesting. The state sets up for the referees, but they don't come from this area. They move them in from different sections. Sometimes the most difficult is getting used to the different ways they call the game.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it.
No?
No, they used to always worry about, well, he's officiated 4 of your games. I always figured that they were doing their best.
Yeah. Emmons rolls. Look at the arm strength. Wide open Newsom, touchdown.
And there we go. Just like Coach Wood draws it up. He said, if you give us time, we're going to score. Great throw by Kenny Emmons. Great catch by Newsom. And I think I could have caught that one and walked that one in.
Well, again, we said that there's going to be some offense tonight. You mentioned that Coach Wood was not afraid of Glassboro putting points on the scoreboard. And this is the first time I've had an opportunity to see Emmons. Very impressed with his arm strength.
Very, very much so. And he's also a very, very heady player. And he took his time and found the open receiver.
This game's going to be 80-78.
Emmons is your holder. We'll keep that in mind for later. Undoubtedly, it'll be Herman to attempt the point after here and try to knot this game up at 7. Herman's kick is up, and his kick is good. Tied at 7 now. 5:25 remaining in this first quarter. Already had some great action here, and let's take a look at the throw from Emmons.
Once again, key to the success, look at the blocking up front. No penetration done by Glassboro. Great block, peel back block. Emmons takes his time, throws off his back foot. Wow. Look how open Newsom is.
Well, it's kind of interesting, Fred, because some of the players from Pennsgrove High School have just come on to watch this football game. And, of course, That's been one of the main conversations in South Jersey football circles as to what has happened at Penns Grove. If you're not familiar with it as a fan, Penns Grove has been disqualified from the playoffs because of too many disqualifications in a game that had a fight earlier in the year. And you know, for all intents and purposes, their championship game's going to be on November 25th against this Pennsville high school team.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting that that rule was established first for soccer because soccer had so many disqualifications and red cards. They figured it was time to set it up, and it was so difficult because a spontaneous action can take place in the game, and in a split second, your whole season can disappear.
Yeah. Again, another squib kick. Little trouble here. And Glassboro will fall on it deep in their own end, about the 13-yard line. You know, it's a tough rule because, of course, as a high school player, you know, you want to reinforce as a state body proper means of comportment. But conversely, it's also difficult because they're high school kids and sometimes they're going to make a mistake.
Absolutely.
You know, I know that as a baseball coach, I've had situations where there's been collisions at the plate, and in fact, inadvertently, and you know, they've called it as a collision, and we've lost players in critical games as a result of it. But you know, there's no real easy answer to it.
There is no answer, and their deal of having no appeal is very difficult.
James cut down after a pickup of about 5 yards.
I had a situation when I was at Audubon one time where a soccer player went in and two guys were arguing, and he went out and extended both hands to keep him from fighting. He got ejected from the game.
Yeah.
So,
you know, it's kind of like second man in always gets it, right?
Yeah. And I had the same thing in baseball where a kid was coming in and he knew he was going to hit the catcher, so he put his arms around the catcher so he wouldn't fall. Out of there.
Yeah. Second down, we'll call it 5. Again, working out of the I formation. Clock continues to move. We got 4:45 left here. And again, inside handoff and just not much there for Glassboro. Critical third down. And Glassboro would certainly like to improve their field position here. If they're forced to punt it away, Pennsville will end up with excellent field position for this next drive.
The one thing I always loved coaching football is the strategy that goes on. The first drive, Glassboro has their will walking down. Pennsville's making some adjustments as we go out, and it becomes a different game.
Absolutely. It's a game of adjustments. Third down again. We'll call it a long 4. Working out of the I, Clement, 2 receivers set, split left. The pitch, it's James. He bobbles but keeps. James drives forward, and he looks like he's going to have enough for the first down.
Very, very dangerous play run by Glassboro with the speed and power of James. He put him right out on the corner on that time, and it's just an outstanding effort by him. He gets the first down. Pennsville avoids the touchdown.
And they are marking it just shy. From this angle, it looked like he had enough, but about a yard shy. Some might say decision time, but I don't think any question Elio's going to punt.
Yeah, it's too early in the game in that situation, and God forbid if you miss it, your name will be in the paper all day and every website and internet forum around.
Well, it's funny, one of the best games that we've done, we had a playoff game, a championship game years ago, Kingsway and Hamilton was essentially in this situation, dominated defensively, opted to go for it. Kingsway held, scored a touchdown, and that was the difference in the ball game. Good punt here, taken at the 42-yard line. Again, it's Hawthorne, Pennsville still on his feet, driving forward. That is Matt Drummond on the return.
Yes, and Drummond was one of the players that for Pennsville that didn't play in game number 1, so they're very happy to get him back into the operation. But so far, it's exactly what we're seeing. Now we'll see the advantage goes a little bit to Pennsville. We'll see what their offense can do.
Aaron Denby, you take a look, he is shaken up on the play. Denby, of course, a sophomore offensive guard and a nose guard. And once again, Pennsville will come back to that spread offense. 3:01 left first quarter. Get a good look at Emmons. What do you think? Got the little eagle wings there like old school Philly Eagles.
I'll tell you, I'm impressed. I kind of like it.
First and 10, Emmons with a lot of time, throws it deep. Jump ball, who's going to come down with it? Good effort. And this time it falls incomplete. Dane Evans, as Evans unable to come away with it.
We saw the first thing. We saw once again Evans' arm strength. That's a whole set timing pattern, just a go pattern. He's going to count to 4 seconds, throw it up, and was almost there.
2nd down and 10. 4 receivers set once again. And the screenplay is set up perfectly, but it falls incomplete. Power rush by Glassboro's Shawn Davis, and that's the case. You set up the screen, you want to let him in, but you got to get at least a little bit of a chip there.
Oh my gosh, yes, because I don't think Emmons even saw where the position was. He just put it up for grabs. But you're absolutely right.
I don't know if we'll have. They essentially run this hurry-up offense out of the spread, and again, it'll be Emmons working out of the shotgun. 3rd down and 10. Emmons throws inside, has his man. It's Hawthorne into the secondary against the grain. Hawthorne is in. Touchdown!
Outstanding effort. Great throw by Emmons, but a great pattern run by Hawthorne, and he knew what to do as a running back once he got the ball. Wow.
Well, I tell you, again, there you get a look at why this Pennsville team is undefeated. Emmons, not only with great arm strength, but hit Hawthorne right on the money in the numbers. Hawthorne then with great running ability, cutting against the grain, and the rest they say is history. 13-7, Eagles on to attempt the point after.
Well, I guess we don't have to worry about it not being a high-scoring game.
Herman. High snap. Herman's kick is good. Well, I tell you what, first time I've had an opportunity to see Pennsville. Very impressed with the skill level here, not only from Emmons and their skill position players, but they look like they have the full package here. Herman, very impressive as a kicker.
And Coach Wood was telling me, he said the one thing they have is great chemistry. He said they all work together, they get to know each other's moves, and I think that really helps on the football field, that you just have confidence in yourselves.
You know, Fred, I think that's the one area of sports that is all too often overlooked.
Well, I was just mentioning, here we see it again. Here's Emmons' throw. Look at this catch. Now watch what he does. As soon as he catches the ball, he knows how to make the move, step, go. Touchdown. And deceptive speed.
Absolutely. Nice, big, long strides. And once Hawthorne gets going, he's tough to stop. 14-7 Eagles here in the first quarter. 2:38 remaining. Herman to kick it away. Remember last time, Glassboro, a little bit of trouble. And again, Herman will have that squib kick, and it's fallen on by Glassboro at their 26-yard line. Looked like Zamir Green.
Yeah, nice job by Zamir, but I'll tell you what, it's absolutely working to perfection because they don't want the long returns. To go back to what you said before, I think chemistry is probably the most important facet that's there. We watched Gloucester County College baseball team 2 years ago have a better team than they had last year, but the chemistry wasn't there. Last year it was there, they win the national championship.
Yeah.
So I think it's all about chemistry.
I couldn't agree with you more. 1st down and 10. Working out of the I formation. Clement keeps. And he'll pick up just a couple. I mean, you can talk about chemistry with, you know, if you want to look at the professional teams. You think about the New York Yankees. On paper, every year they're going to win the championship. And then you look at the Dallas Cowboys in football. Everybody talks about them going to the Super Bowl. Something's not right in the locker room.
And I also remember when Childress got the job out the Minnesota Vikings, and the Eagles had the problems with T.O., and they said, do you want T.O. on your team? And he said, it's all about the team. It's the team, it's the team, it's the team. And that's probably our example.
Absolutely. 2nd down, we're going to call it 8 here with 1:55 remaining in this first quarter. Eagles on top of the Bulldogs, 14-7. Clement flushed out of the pocket. Clement now in trouble. Throws it up for grabs towards the sideline, and he's happy just to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
And now we're going to have intentional grounding.
And here's the situation that comes around for that. It's not like our viewers will notice in college football when you're outside the tackle box. That's not in high school football. It's going to be anytime you throw the ball away to avoid a sack, it's a penalty in high school football.
And what hurts is that is a foul that also entails losing a down.
Yes, absolutely.
And a spot foul.
Matter of fact, they take the spot where the ball was thrown and move back 5 more yards. That's double whammy right there.
That's right. The first down is at the 36. They are at the 12. Third down and 24. Clement out of the shotgun. Quick drop, inside rocket screen. And not a whole lot there as Clement hooks up with Christian James. Bulldogs forced to punt.
Good series for Pennsville, but that loss of down due to the intentional grounding really threw a hamper in. Very good play call, though, by Herb Melio at that time, because you give PJ the ball in the open field, anything can happen. Nice defensive job by Pennsville.
Clock continues to move. You see the train in the background here. Adding to the ambiance. Little end-over-end punt taken at the 50-yard line. It's Drummond. Drummond working outside. Across the 40 to the 35, and now thrown out of bounds. And again, we're going to have another penalty flag. There has been no absence of laundry tonight, Fred.
No, it's really true, and sometimes you really expect these games to not have it because the two teams are so disciplined and played. But I think sometimes the newness of the officials comes on. Let's see what it is.
It's going to be a personal foul, and penalties have hurt both of these teams tonight. We've seen that with that intentional grounding call, now with the personal foul, and of course earlier with the face mask against
Exactly.
Pennsville.
And this one really hurts because now it's going to move the ball inside the 20-yard line. It's going to be all the way down to the 15-yard line.
Inside the red zone once again, Pennsville looking to add to their 7-point lead here inside of a minute left in this first quarter. Emmons, swing pass, has his man. Taken down is Newsome after a short pickup.
Yeah, that little bubble screen's a nice little play because when the receiver catches the ball, his shoulders are parallel to the line of scrimmage and he can really deliver a blow and get yards. But actually where the ball is right now kind of favors Glassboro because the field is still so compressed the receivers can't run deep routes.
Three receiver set, and it's Hawthorne on the handoff, and he is cut down inside after a short pickup. But again, you see the power of Hawthorne. Tackle made by Shawn Davis.
And I think I was amazed too, as much as they run the spread and run the offense, Pennsville can definitely run the football.
Timeout called here by Glassboro with 11 seconds remaining. And Herb Melio trying to set up his defense. This is not a case where the wind is really playing a role, so it's not a case where they wanted to call timeout prior to the end of the quarter. Interesting, I don't know whether Pennsville would have gotten this play off before, but that's a case where Melio does not have the luxury of, hoping here. This is a big play.
I agree, because there's a big difference between 14-7 and 21-7, and I think he wants to make sure that didn't happen.
Third down and 3. That was really the first opportunity we've seen Hawthorne running the football from the line of scrimmage. We mentioned before he had a big game last week against Audubon, not only in the air with his receptions, but on the ground, over 160 yards on the ground. We'll probably see a lot more of Hawthorne as the night goes on.
And when I talked to the Pennsville people, Haslett had been their starting back. He was hurt last week. They said, we won't miss him as much on offense because Hawthorne's so good, but we'll miss him on defense.
Ryan Wood out to talk to his team with a critical third down and 3 here for the Eagles. Again, 3 receivers split left, 1 running back for Emmons out of the shotgun. It's Hawthorne right up the gut, all too easy. Ryan Hawthorne, his second touchdown of the night. It's 27, Pennsville.
And it's amazing, it's how you drew it up. He walks in without anybody touching him in the end zone. This is gut check now for Glassboro. It's 21-7 or 20-7 at the moment right now. Glassboro has to regroup, take it down and score.
Herman will come on again to attempt the point after. The holder, Ken Emmons, the quarterback. 7 seconds remaining in this first quarter. 28 points already on the board here. Well, I should say 27. We're waiting 28. Getting ahead of myself. And another penalty flag.
Now it'll be interesting to see if that's a false start or if that's a encroachment. Looks like it's going to be a false start. No.
Offsides against Glassboro.
Yeah, they're decline rather than make the ball too close to kick, but I would have thought they might have even thought about going for 2 there.
Of course, in the NFL, you can have that assessed on the kickoff. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 21-7, 7 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Pennsville, very impressive thus far. Glassboro, we've seen the magic of P.J. James, but he can't do it all himself. They're going to have to open it up. Let's take a look at Hawthorne again.
And you can see, watch it, he just walks through. There's nobody there. Great job done by Hawthorne right there. It was interesting, too, in talking to the Glassboro people. In the last game they played Pennsville scored 21 points in the second quarter to kind of open up the game. And then after that, Glassboro came back with 12 points to make that 21-12 final. The last thing they wanted to do was fall behind by 2 touchdowns.
Well, again, I think what Glassboro would probably love to see here is a long, protracted drive, give their defense an opportunity to rehabilitate itself and generate some confidence. Herman to kick it away. Again, it's going to be another squib kick that's been successful here, taken now just at the 19-yard line, slipping and falling. And we talked about special teams play, an issue. It's been an issue here with the squib kicks of Herman. That looks like it's going to be it for the first quarter. We'll step away. After 1 quarter, it's the South Jersey Group 1 semifinals, and Pennsville on top of Glassboro, 21-7.
Who is he? Okay.
Welcome back. Pennsville on top of Glassboro here to start the second quarter. Glassboro on offense will try to get it going again, and it's going to be the P.J. James show once again. A big pickup here, and James cut down after a pickup of about 7, 2nd and 3.
PJ did what all great backs do. The play was designed to go to the left. He saw the opportunity backside, made a great cut. If he hadn't fallen, he might have gone the route.
2nd down. Again, out of the eye. Lamont Smith, split right. Hand off. And once again, James getting the load.
Well, again, once I think this is a very much of a character drive and a very much of an important drive for Glassboro. You're going to put the ball in the hands of your best player, and that's PJ.
Again, I know as a Glassboro fan, people would probably love to see a quick score here, but I think if you're Herb Nealio, you're content to just kind of grind it out.
Absolutely. I think he would take an 8-minute drive, score, make it 21-14, and then stop Pennsville the next time around.
Again, out of the eye. James. And he's cut down. He'll have enough for the first down.
James with the throw, Glassboro down.
Group 1 football is very, very interesting, again, because most of the players are playing both ways, and that tiredness factor does come into play. And so look, here it is again. Watch James, shoulders square, driving, excellent effort.
James did a nice job of holding on to that football. First down and 10 at the 41-yard line. Glassboro driving here to start the second quarter. Clement hands it off, and absolutely nothing there. Trying to switch things up. Clement hands off to his brother, Corey.
You know, Rob, we used to have this argument in the coach's office all the time, but sometimes you trick yourself because you want to run different plays and everything. Sometimes you're better just to run the play and works until somebody can stop it.
That's right.
But we never seem to ever do that.
Outthinking yourself.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes it's a case, too, where you just need to give your lead man a bit of a breather.
And to make sure he blocks all the time.
That's right. Clement hands off James. That quick burst. And he'll pick up about 6 or 7. A makeable third down now for the Bulldogs.
First look by Glassboro, they ran a very nice X counter that time, where you're going to fake the fullback going to the right side, and the tailback goes back to the left side, and opened up some yardage for that.
Third down and 4 at the 48-yard line of the Bulldogs. Two receivers split left. It's James and Smith, again out of the I formation. Clement will hand it off to P.J. James. James driving forward all the way down to the 45-yard line. 1st and 10, Bulldogs.
Just what you had said before, Rob. Nice little long drive, good action of running the ball and dealing some punishment along as you do. Here we look at it again. Watch this little counter action. He'll step first to the left, then to the right, pulling guard, and kicks out the end, and down goes P.J. James.
Clock continuing to move here. 8:40 and counting. James, that quick burst. And right now the Bulldogs getting a good push from their offensive line.
You know, you were mentioning earlier today we had some light problems at the one standard. I understand there's a football game that's going to be played out on Wrigley Field, and there's only enough lights to be in one end zone.
Is it lights or is it the problem with the outfield wall?
That's what it is. The outfield wall's too close. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's it.
I saw that today. So offense will always go in the same direction.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting,
huh? It's almost like playing in somebody's backyard.
We could do that.
The tree's out of bounds.
I've done that before.
2nd down. Smith and James split right. P.J. James up the middle. Forward progress, shy of the 1st.
And the only thing I've seen in the last 2 plays now done by Pennsville is they're starting to gather everybody inside, anticipating that James is going to get the ball. So now Herb Mueller is probably seeing this on an idea. We might see something different in the next play just because Pennsville's stacking the inside.
Third down, we'll call it 4. Clock continuing to move. Glassboro with the football. 7 minutes and 10 seconds remaining now in this first half. Once again, 2 receivers split left for Clement and the Bulldogs. Pitch, P.J. James. Outside tackle, strung down from behind, and it looks like he's going to be just shy of the 1st down. We may have a measurement here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the left foot there of the field judge over there, and it looks like he's about a half-yard short. Again, that was toss sweep to the weak side into the sideline.
Well, now it's decision time for Neilio.
I think he goes.
I think you're right. 4th down and about half a yard. Last time when they needed a half a yard, it was at the goal line and Clement kept. Full house backfield here for the Bulldogs. One receiver set. Clement, he'll hand it off to James, and James dives forward with more than enough for the 1st down. Are you surprised they didn't go right back to the play earlier where Clement kept?
Yeah, I really honestly, because you don't want to take a chance of a fumble, but they went power high and just said best back, best play, and that's how it worked. But I always like that because I always hated a fumble. Always had a chance for a fumble.
Well, this is just what the doctor ordered for Glassboro. This long, protracted drive with 6:02 on the clock. Temporarily stopped. And now we had some chain issues out there. They fixed that, so clock ticking away inside of 6 minutes left. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. Bulldogs marching. Again, James on the pitch, and this time, nothing doing. And you can see the Eagles, this is something that they've been told for whatever reason, they're really going after the football.
Yeah, and I think on a cold night, it's a very good idea to do that. But I was also watching how tight Pennsville moved in. They took 2 of their linebackers, brought them right down on the line. So it was really like a 7-man line that went through on that.
2nd down. We'll call it 9. Split left is Christian James. Clement with Smith to his right. Again, James with room and well defended by the Eagles. Pickup of about 5. That was a case where James had open space, but the Eagles took good angles and stopped any forward progress.
Yeah, watch it again. Look at the opening right here. It looks like he's going to run forever. Great job by Drummond. Drummond kept his ground, waited for help, got the help coming on from the linebacker, actually a strong safety coming out on that side. But Drummond was the key. He held his ground and made James make the change.
And you can see it was Monty Cruff on the backside with good pursuit, really stopping that cutback, and P.J. James comes out of the football game to get a breather here. 3rd down and 5 for Clement and the Bulldogs. Again, 2 receivers set out of the I formation. Pitch. And it's going to be a halfback pass. Has his man, it's up and in and out of the hands of Christian James. A beautiful pass by Shabron Shockley. And it was a Shockley to everybody in this crowd as James drops the ball.
Yeah, great call by Coach Neilio. One-on-one coverage out there for Pennsville. As we watch it again, watch. It looks like it's going to be toss sweep. Green stops, makes a great throw. Let's watch it down at the end of the play. Oh my.
In and out of his hands. Matt Drummond pulled up there. He had great coverage, and for some reason he pulled up. That allowed James to get some space, but James has it fall in and out of his hands, and that'll bring up a critical 4th down and 5 now.
And once again, you save these plays, the trick plays that you run, for the right situation. That was the right situation.
Yeah, you got to give Herb Neilio and this Glassboro offensive coaching staff credit for that call. But sometimes you can do everything right,
and it just still doesn't make it. I did that in high school. The one thing I did notice is that Pennsville's been locking up the wide receiver, defensive backs on the wide receivers one-on-one, and I'm sure they realized that Christian James was a better athlete than the Pennsville kid. And
well, and that's another thing. Sometimes you just throw the ball up and you allow your athlete to be athletic, right?
Absolutely. When we were at Deptford, we ran the offense. We ran the triple option. We could do 8 things wrong in a play. We had a back that ran 4-4. He goes 90 yards for a touchdown. When Mark Deal took over at Audubon, I told him, you could do everything right on a play and gain 3 yards.
4th down and 5. Both receivers split left, James and Smith. In motion, it's Christian James. Fake handoff, rolling right, it's Clement with a lot of time, has a man wide open. That'll be more than enough. Loose football. Pennsville is on the football. Ryan Hawthorne. And they're going to rule that it was a fumble. And the Eagles will take possession at the 10.
That'll be interesting to see. We'll see if the receiver's knees were on the ground, because the ground cannot cause a fumble.
It's a good fake here and a nice roll. And again, another play call that worked well for the Bulldogs.
The ball's loose. That's definitely a fumble.
That's not even close. That's a great call by the referees, right on top of it without a doubt, and a critical turnover. And now Hawthorne, look at the Bull go. Pickup of 5 or 6, and again, you have to credit this Pennsville defense. Very resilient. Glassboro really wearing them down, but coming away with a key stop here, and that's what Glassboro is going to need, a key stop on defense. 2nd down, we'll call it 4. Emmons with an audible from the sideline. Plenty of time here, out of the hurry up. Clock continuing to move. And now they may be running out of time. And they do. Timeout, Pennsville.
And that's the one difference in college football over high school. We have the play clock that knocks down, and the only thing that will happen in the back is that the back official will give a signal when it gets under 10 seconds. And if the quarterback isn't paying attention, it can happen just like that. Luckily, Coach Wood saw it, called the timeout.
Coach Wood, of course, had tremendous success with this Pennsville program in the during the baseball season. Won Group 1 championships, won a Diamond Classic, and now no longer coaching the baseball team, but has done a nice job here with the football program.
Yeah, he won 3 state championships in a row, and if not for John Humphreys hurting his arm his senior year, John Humphreys could have been the chance of being the winning pitcher in 3 straight state championship games.
Let's take a look at this Pennsville 2010 schedule. They started off with a win over Pittman and Woodstown, then Clayton and Salem, Wildwood easily. So, you know, I think a lot of people start out, they saw Pennsville 5-0. They said, okay, they're pretty good, but who have they beaten? Well, then it was up against Glassboro, and that's really where they made a statement. And Hawthorne on the carry as we now are inside of 3 minutes.
Interesting decision now for Coach Wood. It's about 2 yards to go for the first down, 3rd down. Do you keep the ball on the ground and eat up another 30 seconds of clock, or do you throw the ball?
Trips left here. Emmons again getting an audible from the sideline. 2:35 remaining. Hawthorne keeps. And Hawthorne will be shy of the first down. So it's a big defensive stand. Very conservative by Coach Wood.
Yeah, very, very interesting at the time. I think the field position had a big say with it. I don't think he wanted to give Glassboro an easy score, but it's definitely not a first down.
4th down and 1. And now it looks like they're going to go for it. Here's a shot.
Well, it better work. Oh, look at this.
Jump off sides.
It's a no play. It's a no play. When you come up, you're not going to run the football. You're just going to do some heavy barking of the signal cone to try to draw the team off sides. Excellent decision.
Fred, we literally, a second before that happened, had someone from the bleachers yell out, stay on sides. And of course, on cue.
It's what happens. How about that?
I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised that you don't see more of that in the NFL.
It works.
It does work.
It really works.
And that's, again, we talked about penalties playing a key role tonight. And again, that would have been immense. Now, Glassboro will be fortunate to get the football back. Emmons with time. Now, flushed out of the pocket, we're going to have another holding call. Emmons throws underneath, and that falls incomplete. Short hopping the receiver, intended for Colton Newsom. But again, we're going to have a holding penalty here, Fred.
And that's going to be huge again, because it's going to put the ball back 10 yards from the spot, and the ball's going to be from behind the line of scrimmage. So it's going to end up almost being a 16-yard penalty.
I think that's going to force Coach Wood and these Eagles to stay on the ground here and try to burn some of Glassboro's timeouts. Glassboro did use one of their timeouts earlier. They have 2 remaining. I believe the scoreboard says 3. But they did call a timeout when they were driving, when Pennsville was driving down in this end. Again, out of the shotgun. Emmons keeps, throws, and that falls incomplete.
Surprising me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because again, you get an incomplete like that, you're not taking any time off the clock, so we'll see what happens. I think you'll go back to running now.
Well, again, we mentioned that Glassboro, you know, it's interesting because the scoreboard says 3 timeouts. It's very possible that Pennsville sees 3 timeouts and says, you know what, let's just throw the ball here. They can stop us 3 times anyway. But the fact of the matter is they only have 2. And that's why as a coach sometimes I know I'm as guilty as anybody. I'm too reliant on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point. That's what you have assistant coaches for. Looks like Coach Wood's coming out on the field, so we have a timeout being called by Pennsville.
Well, again, we mentioned before that Pennsville coming up with a big win against Glassboro. That coming back on the 15th of October. You saw Glassboro headed into the game. The real critical game was that first game against Pennsgrove, a barn burner, 13-12. And we talked a little bit before what happened to Pennsgrove. After that, Shalleck, Gloucester, Pittman, and Woodstown, you know, no real surprises there in terms of how easily they won. I think that a lot of people took for granted that Glassboro was going to roll over Pennsville.
Yeah, I think so too. And sometimes winning easy in the early part of the season could really hurt you. I think when they played Camden at Camden, and Camden's always an adventurous place to play, I think that really helps them. And they did very, very well playing against Gloucester last week.
Second down and 25. Emmons again with 2 running backs here, and he'll hand it off. And that's Newsom. And at this point, no timeout called. A little surprised by that.
Yeah, clock management becomes so important at the end of the half and at the end of the game.
Apparently they want to keep a timeout for offense. Third down and 22. And Pennsville more than happy to eat up as much of this clock as possible.
This is where you just tell Edmonds, look at the clock, watch when the official says start the play, and then run it down to where it's 2 seconds left when it comes up.
Again, it's Hawthorne. Hawthorne, they'll be brought down after a short pickup, and this time they're going to call timeout with 56 seconds remaining. So Pennsville forced to punt it away, and Glassboro will have somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 seconds or so to drive on a short field.
And I think Herb's play probably on that was keep one timeout in abeyance, so in case anything happens, you can take it and go in, because they have to get, I think, support.
And you know, this is a Glassboro team that is built for a ground game more so. So you're going to be forced to run the ball once or twice on this drive. So timeout in your back pocket is critical.
Sure. Or swing past to PJ, because let him do what he wants. But I also have noticed the last couple times where Pennsville has played man-to-man on Christian James and the outside receiver, and I still think that's a danger situation in this last closing minute.
So Clint Herman will punt it. Corey Clement back to receive. See if they put on a rush here and try to block the punt of Herman. Good snap, Herman gets it away high, and a spiral taken at the 47. Clement will string it outside, now back across, trying to get back to the 40, does not. And at about the 42-yard line, 45 seconds remaining in this first half. And Fred, if Glassboro can score here, I think Herb Nealio and the Bulldogs will be happy to just have a 7-point deficit.
Sure, because they get the ball to start period number 3, and that's a help. But I think consciously, if you can score right before the end of the half, it's such a morale booster for you and defeating for the opposition.
Absolutely. Clement to work out of the shotgun. 3 receivers in the formation. James, Smith, and Clement. Clement with time, throws, and that's behind his intended receiver, P.J. James.
And I think we saw when they went to the shotgun offense and try to throw the ball, the only thing that's difficult is when you're such a good running team like Glassboro, you really don't spend a lot of time passing the ball in practice, and that sometimes is a hurt.
Second down.
Here's your danger. We have both the Jameses set out to the left.
4 receivers in this pattern. Again, Clement out of the shotgun. A lot of time. Rolls to his left. Buys time. Throws it. It's up for grabs. And that's going to fall incomplete because James well out of bounds there. 31 seconds remaining.
And the good old wheel play was run by Glassboro, where they ran Christian on a quick skinny post, and PJ ran the wheel route and up to hope to catch the defensive back sleeping. Good job played by Pennsville.
Third down and 10. Again, 4 receivers set for Clement. Clement with a lot of time. Again, he's going to throw deep. Up for grabs, a push, and a catch. You can see Drummond looking for the push off. And hey, Lamont Smith gets away with it.
Absolutely, it's not a foul unless it's called.
That's right. 25 seconds Clock will restart on the snap. It does. Clement out of the shotgun. Again with time. Very little pressure here. Throws it up and defended. We're going to have a pass interference call. And this is going to go against Kenny Emmons. Emmons with his back to the play. Had he had his head turned around, that could have been an interception.
Yeah, exactly. And I was surprised that Glassboro didn't run the ball because they still had the timeout to go. But now the ball's going to be, actually in high school now, if I'm not wrong, it's still half the distance to the goal.
Pass interference, the call against Pennsville. And now both teams, so offsetting penalties, did not see where Glassboro committed that.
Wow. A lot of years of coaching.
I was going to say, I don't know that I've ever seen that before.
Never seen that before.
But it's conceivable it was not from the intended receiver.
Correct.
May have run a pick play there. So 12 seconds left for the Bulldogs. Now, I'm perplexed because they called one timeout. Earlier they had 3. Now it says 0 on the board. So I don't know how many timeouts are left.
I'm with you.
Clement out of the shotgun. With pressure. Flushed out of the pocket. He'll keep. And he's going to be short. He's going to be short. Down to 3 seconds left. And finally they call a timeout. But time has expired.
If that's the case, crucial mistake for Glassboro.
And now Neilio is going to go over and talk to the referees, contending that he in fact did call a timeout.
And again, remember in high school, the coach can call the timeout from the sideline so long as he's recognized.
Well,
wow.
An interesting end. Neilio still contending that he called timeout. The referees don't want any part of it. They'll have to talk about it during the break. We'll step away. We'll be back with the second half. It's Pennsville on top of Glassboro, 21-7. Welcome back to Glassboro High School. Second half about to get underway. Clint Herman will again start things with a squib kick that has been so successful, really shutting down this Glassboro vaunted special teams play, and they will start at the 25-yard line.
And Rob, that was one of the factors when we were looking at for keys to the game, was that Pennsville couldn't give up a big play on special teams. They have over the last few weeks, and I think this has definitely done it. But here we go. I think this is a very, very important character and game drive for Glassboro. I think they need to come away with points.
Of course, a lot on the line. The winner of this team will advance to the Group 1 final. Last year, Woodbury shut out Paulsboro in the Group 1 final, 16-0. The 4 years prior to that, Glassboro was a participant. Handoff, James pushing forward, and nothing doing there. In 2007 and 2008, Glassboro victorious, 24-8 win over Pennsgrove, and in 2007, Glassboro defeating Paulsboro in that game. You see, coming off with a cramp was Stephen Clement. Back in 2006, Paulsboro.
Actually, it's P.J. James coming off.
Excuse me, that's P.J. James, so that will certainly play a role here. Paulsboro shut out Glassboro 20-0 in 2006, and one of the best games we've ever done on television in overtime, Paulsboro beating Glassboro the year prior. Handoff right up the middle, so Glassboro does not skip a beat.
And that's number 6, Corey Clement. The last time that Pennsville and Glassboro played, Clement had a very, very big game until he had an injury and had to be taken out quick, only a sophomore.
You can see right now, P.J. James is just beside himself because he has cramped up here. And, you know, that's one of those things, it seems like a minor injury, but it really is not. Again, another handoff, a nice pickup here. We'll call it about 6 or 7 before the whistle finally blows.
Great effort again by Corey Clement. You know, it's kind of interesting sometimes because when you set up your defensive game plan, you really predicate it on the key back, the feature back, and in this case is PJ. And you even set your alignment as to where he lines up on the field. When he's not in there, your key's gone.
That's a good point. 2nd down, we'll call it 4. Ball at the 46-yard line. Clock continuing to move. Glassboro has certainly had their fair share of possession here, but not their fair share of points. They trail 21-7. Again, working out of the I formation. Quick hitter right up the middle, and that'll be enough for a first down as Shaphon Davis driving across midfield.
Big blast by the fullback at that time. Pennsville blitzed. There were actually no linebackers left on the line. They sent both of them, and a really good job by the strong safety coming through to make the tackle. And that's what happened with PJ the last time. You can see him down here. They're taping his ankle, and that's what kept him out earlier in the season.
Well, that's a big story right now, but Glassboro able to drive on Pennsville without him thus far. The pitch. It's going to be Clement outside the tackles. Clement across the 40-yard line, inside to about the 35-yard line, and a big burst by Corey Clement.
And you said it right. Great first step burst. It was just a quick toss outside. You pull the tackle, the tight end blocks down, and Clement's got speed.
You know, we talk so much about P.J. James that we probably don't give these other players their due. This is a very, very talented Glassboro team. First down and 10, 9:20 left in the 3rd quarter. Again, the handoff to Davis, and this time not much there. You know, Fred, we didn't get really an opportunity to talk about this, but remember the first half ended somewhat controversially. Herb Nealio trying to call a timeout, and at the very least, maybe another shot at a touchdown or a field goal. Instead, the clock expires, and I think this drive is super critical because that has to be just a major blow to your psyche.
Yeah, very, very frustrating because you're in great position to go. You have a timeout. There's everything to set. The coach can call the timeout from the sidelines, and I guess he wasn't heard.
Yeah, from this vantage point, Fred, it looked like he did call timeout in time, but for whatever reason, they were forced to go to the locker room.
Well, the one thing we're noticing so far right off for Glassboro, with P.J. James out of the lineup, they go away from the I and they go to 2 setbacks, almost like veerbacks, where your fullback now becomes as important in the offense as a halfback does, and I think that gives them some advantage. We'll see what happens.
You can see P.J. James had his right ankle being taped, and now he's got a matching set, so still walking a little gingerly, and he's going to try to make it a go. 3rd down here and 6. 2 receivers split left. It's James and Smith. Clement will roll to his left, sets up underneath, and tries to find James. And it was interesting because Clement looked like had he tucked it under, he may have had some room.
Yeah, I think sometimes a quarterback, especially a young quarterback, will think they have to pass in that situation.
So it's going to be 4th down now, and they're deep in Pennsville territory, certainly outside of the range of their kicker, Corey Clement. So forced to go for it here. 4th and 6 on the 41-yard line.
And I think, watch out, we'll see if they give us that look. I thought they'd give us split backs and run that quick toss, but we're going back in I, so it looks like play action pass.
Again, working out of the I. Clement fakes the handoff. Throws, has his man, it's Davis. Towards the end zone, Davis is knocked out of bounds at about the 4-yard line. A big, big pickup on 4th down.
Great concentration there by Davis, but great job by the quarterback. He's taking his time. We'll hopefully see it again.
You have a little waggle here, and it just really freezes the defense.
Took his time. Watch, he's looking downfield. He looks, doesn't panic, sees Davis wide open. Great job.
First down and goal inside of the 5-yard line. Full house backfield, the pitch. Stringing outside Clement. It's a race for the corner, and it's in. Touchdown.
Game on here at Glassboro. Game on.
Corey Clement. And he will come on, will Corey Clement, to attempt the point after.
And just what the Bulldogs needed to do, even without James. They had to sit down, they had to go their yards, they had to make no mistakes. They did it all and got a 4th down conversion.
Clement try to draw Glassboro to within 7. The kick is blocked, and that's going to be big. Glassboro will be forced to go for 2 next time around. I know I'm getting ahead of myself because, more importantly, Glassboro is going to have to make a big defensive stand. But again, I think if you're Herb Nealio, you're pleased scoring a touchdown after that tough ending to the first half. And it's been a long time since Pennsville's offense has been on the field.
Here it is again. Watch this acceleration here by Clement. He knows where to go and just turns on the jets right here. Bang, get to the end zone, lower the shoulder, walk in, hand the ball to the official.
And that's a case where you see, Colton Newsom trying to knock him down, but you got to wrap him up there.
Yeah, we used to say it's like the Volkswagen against the Cadillac, and the Volkswagen's going to lose every time.
Shafon Davis will kick it away for the Bulldogs. And we've seen this Pennsville team come up with some excellent field position. We'll see if the Bulldogs go to the squib kick. They do not. It's a line drive, and it's angled, and this will fall out of bounds. So an inauspicious start to their special teams play here.
Yeah, and absolutely. Now the ball's going to come right out. Now, they changed the rule on me all the time. It used to come out to the 40. We'll see where it's going now. But I believe Pennsville has the choice, but I think they're going to take the ball up to where it is. Oh, interesting. They're going to take the penalty.
So they are going to force the Bulldogs to kick it once again.
It almost now becomes an interesting drive for Pennsville because they need to answer Glassboro, or it's not crucial as a drive for the game, but it's, I think, good for their psyche.
Well, again, by Pennsville taking this penalty, I think that tells you a little bit about Coach Wood and how he feels about his special teams unit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it used to be the ball was placed on the 40-yard line, and most everybody would take that starting position every time. We'll see how it works.
So Davis and the Bulldogs set to kick it away now from the 35-yard line. And end over end kick taken at the 16-yard line. Straight up the gut comes Newsom. Newsom still on his feet. Newsom, and they'll be knocked out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. First down and 10 Eagles.
So now we get to see Emmons. We get to see the spread offense. And we'll see if their plan now is to go back throwing the football or to run the football with Hawthorne.
Plenty of football left to be played here. 7:18 left in the third quarter. 21-13 Pennsville. On top, Pennsville coming into this game undefeated. Back to pass. Emmons, a lot of time. He throws, and this falls incomplete. And we're going to see whether or not this is intentional grounding.
Well, if it follows the way it was in the first half, it should be.
I don't see a flag yet, and it looks like they're not going to have one.
Now, it's like offside in soccer. I've stopped trying to figure out what it is.
Hawthorne, not much there. And a critical third down now.
And once again, just what Glassboro wanted. Third down and long for Pennsville, and not much time coming off the clock.
Clock continuing to move inside of 7 minutes. Emmons throws, has a man, it's Hawthorne across the middle into Glassboro territory. First down and 10 at the 40-yard line.
And they came back to the same play that scored the touchdown. That quick deep slant, or quick post, whatever you want to call it, wide open. Good effort.
They're just giving Hawthorne too much room in the middle of the field. Critical first down for the Eagles. Emmons again out of the shotgun, setting up the screen pass. Has his man. A lot of room here at the 35. Now the 30, falling forward. First down once again for Monty Cruff.
Very, very nice job. That time they took more time in setting up the screen. Got a great block by the lineman downfield. Another first down, Pennsville. Now the interesting thing is Pennsville with a good field goal kicker, they may not even have to score a touchdown.
Two receivers split both right and left. Emmons throwing it up for grabs, and it is incomplete.
Yeah, caught out of bounds. Good job of using the sideline over there by Pennsville's receiver. But once again, kind of interesting because the deep backs for Glassboro, very good athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think those 50-50 balls typically are going to go Pennsville's way. A little surprised by that.
Agreed.
6:03 left, second down and 10. Pennsville trying to answer the opening drive of Glassboro, drawing the Bulldogs to within 8. Again, two receivers split both left and right. Quick drop, Emmons, and that is tipped at the line of scrimmage. And Christian James almost came away with it, 3rd and 10.
Which would have been a big play. Pennsville was trying to run the X pattern outside where the outside receiver comes in and the inside receiver comes out. Nice job at deflecting the pass. I think the field goal's out of the market right now. I think it's 4-down offense for Pennsville.
Ball spotted just inside the 30-yard line. 3rd down and 10. Emmons again with 4 receivers in the pattern. Emmons again throwing that 50-50 ball and nobody home.
Yeah, the receiver pulled up and curled at about the 20 instead of breaking it long. It's usually a timing pattern. You tell your receiver to go down the field, and if the Glassboro receiver is with him or keeps dropping back, you curl it up, and I think Emmons just read it wrong. I think they're going to go here because I don't think the punt would give them much of an advantage.
Well, it's interesting because a good punt would really pin them back, and we know that
he's a good punter.
We know that he's a good punter, and Glassboro is really relying on the run. You can kind of overplay the run there, but nonetheless, showing some confidence here in Emmons. 4th down and 10. Emmons now getting the audible.
Yeah, it could be another no play. That's a very good possibility.
Emmons, deep drop across the middle and knocked away, trying to find Hawthorne. Well, the 3rd time was the charm for Glassboro on defense on that deep post.
Yeah, same type again. Great play by Davis. Got out there, got his hands up, deflected the ball, and Glassboro's got what they want.
So you weren't surprised that they went for it there?
No, I really think that they thought that there's a chance you could get the ball inside the 10, but if rolls in the end zone is a gain of 9 yards. So I think it was a good move.
Right. 1st down and 10. The handoff inside to Clement. And it's loose. Ball's on the ground. Who will come away with it? It looked like the Eagles had a man there. Whether or not he will dig it out of that pile is another story.
That ball could change hands 3 times in that pile.
Still no indication on the field.
2nd down.
So Glassboro falls on it. P.J. James is still on the sideline, wrapped up. And we saw earlier a critical turnover by the Bulldogs. There they dodge a bullet.
And it certainly looks like the fire's been lit under the offensive linemen from Glassboro because they are definitely firing out.
You know, right now, Corey Clement with the hot hand. We saw the impressive run that he had for the touchdown. I think Cornelio is more apt to let PJ kind of recuperate, and if they can give him a blow here on the sideline, and that's a better opportunity for them for next week if they are around next week. And
flag down for delay, yeah. Again, another reason why I think the high school should go to the play clock so the quarterbacks and the coaches and the fans go, but the officials don't like it because sometimes in blowout games, you get a little more than 25 seconds.
second down, so that 5-yard gain negated. It's now 2nd and 10. Again, out of the eye. Clement rolling, throwing, deep down the middle, has his man, and just past the streaking Lamont Smith. A nice throw by Clement, but just a little too strong.
And I think you said that right on the money. He showed a very good arm. Again, Glassboro receivers can get open against Pennsville. One of those is going to come back sooner or later. Big 3rd down play.
Third and 10 for the Bulldogs.
And watching in the sidelines is P.J. James is just stalking the sidelines like a caged lion, wanting to get back in that game.
He's easy to pick up with his ankles brightly taped as a result of that earlier injury. Out of the shotgun, Clement, again, 4-receiver set with time, throws underneath, too strong for Christian James, and the Bulldogs will be forced to punt it away. So not a very productive drive, and again, it's another situation, Fred, where penalties really shot them in the foot, kind of changed the whole sequence.
And I agree with that. I think they were moving on to 1st down, got them 5 yards. They were really in good shape to run whatever offense they wanted. It suddenly went back to 1st and 10. They threw. 2nd and 10, they're more in trouble.
Fourth down and 10. And the Eagles should come away with good field position here. Punted away, taken at the 33. Evans to the 45 and brought down around midfield.
Good field position to start off the drive for Pennsville. And again, the punt was a line. It was a good punt, but it was a line drive punt, which gives you plenty of time to return the punt. Well fielded by Pennsville. Here we go.
The Eagles have enjoyed good field position throughout the night, Fred.
Yeah, that's really true. And that, I think, is very, very important for their offense, because the one time they didn't have it, their offense became very, very, very vanilla.
He's good, though. Yeah. So hopefully he'll be back out here.
Again, Emmons working out of the shotgun. They have not run the ball often. And now, right on cue, Hawthorne. Hawthorne finds a seam across the 40 into the 25, 27-yard line. Ryan Hawthorne, we talk about P.J. James having a burst. He's got a little burst himself.
I was very impressed, because when you first looked at him, you didn't think he'd be that kind of runner. He ran like the old wing T sweep, and he made the cut right outside the end, cut back across the screen. Amazing.
Again, out of the hurry up, Emmons trips left. Hawthorne in the backfield. Hawthorne again, right up the gut. Going to the hot hand. We mentioned before that Hawthorne last week against Audubon had quite a day on the ground. Hawthorne with 160 rushing yards and a pair of touchdowns, 3 touchdowns running, 4 touchdowns running, excuse me. Play action, Emmons, and
great
fine
play.
Defense made by Smith.
Boy, Lamont Smith just stepped in just at the right time, or that was touchdown.
You know, last week, well, let's take a look at this defensive play.
Yeah, watch it. It's very good. Emmons takes his time, sets play action pass, delivers on his timing pattern. Now watch the hand come. There it is. Right out, and it would have been a completed pass.
3rd down now. Again, Emmons working out of the shotgun. Last week we mentioned Hawthorne, 160 rushing yards, 4 touchdowns, all coming on the ground. And now we got a penalty here.
That's going to be a sideline warning that's given. Each of the teams gets a sideline warning that basically is that the team's only allowed down to the 25-yard line. Somebody's either too close to the sideline or over that line.
3rd down. Emmons with a lot of time, still looking, throwing underneath, as his man, will not be enough for the 1st down as he dumps to Drummond. And now someone shaking up on the field.
And I still think too far away for a field goal attempt. It's going to be about 2 yards to go for the first down. So a crucial one.
This would be a 35-yard field goal. And
he's coming out.
Looks like Herman's going to come on to attempt it.
Well, crucial, I guess, in one sense, because I'm using that word, but it would make it a 2-score game if he makes it. So. I'm sure Coach Wood has a lot of confidence in him. He is the leading field goal kicker in South Jersey. He's kicked 6 of them this year.
Emmons, the holder, he is the quarterback. The ball will be spotted at the 26, so officially a 36-yard field goal. And now we're going to have a timeout called. And Coach Wood out to talk to his special teams unit. Again, getting back to last week, Fred, Pennsville going against Audubon, and Audubon with a 12-point lead at the half, 19-7, and Pennsville comes back outscoring Audubon 20-6 in the third quarter, and that's the way the game ended, 27-25. Matt Drummond intercepted a pass in the end zone in the fourth quarter with just 3.5 minutes left to really preserve the game. Ryan Hawthorne, the story, as I mentioned, with 4 rushing touchdowns and 216 total yards of offense.
All right, no change of heart. We're still going to go with that. Looks like it's going to be marked at for a 36-yard field goal here by Pennsville.
And we're going to have a penalty here as his kick falls just short. But first, we'll see who the penalty is against. This could be big if it's against Glassboro.
Boy, absolutely crucial, but it looks like Glassboro's clapping, so.
Procedure against Pennsville. And they will decline that.
I would hope.
So Glassboro dodges another bullet.
Stays a 1-score game. And we keep looking to see if number 1's gone back into the lineup.
First down and 10 for the Bulldogs. With 2:23 left in this third quarter, ball on the 19-yard line. And at this point, I do not see P.J. James.
Yeah, still standing right next to Coach Neilio, talking in his ear, I'm sure.
And Clement picks up about 3 or 4.
Again, not an absolute must that you score on this drive, but I think if the longer they can control the ball and deal some little punishment to Pennsville, takes a little bit out of them for quarter number 4.
Absolutely, and try to lengthen the field for their defense.
Right, that's really a good point, because you definitely get tired.
Clock continuing to move. We are deep into the third quarter here from Glassboro High School, 21-13.
Timeout for Glassboro.
And Herb Neilio is not happy having to burn a timeout, so each team has burned a timeout here.
Now,
in the third quarter.
It could very well be. The last couple times, Glassboro's been very lackadaisical coming up to the offense and taking a lot of time. One resulted in a delay penalty. I think he's going to go out there and tell them, guys, get to the line, it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's very possible, but it's interesting now because both coaches, the wheels are turning. Glassboro knows they only need to score and get a 2-point conversion. Pennsville's realizing they can drive the ball on Glassboro, but they haven't been able to finish. 1 score by Pennsville, it's going to make it awful tough.
Are you getting back? I know that they have a lot of success in the spread offense. Are you surprised they're still throwing it as frequently and try not to shorten the game here, or are you getting ahead of yourself?
No, I think it's still first to third quarter, and that's a deal. And their offense has always been based on this is what we do well. And at this time, I don't think you want to change that one way or the other.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, Hawthorne's a pretty good back.
Yeah, he's been very impressive. Second down, we'll call it 6 from the 24-yard line. Again, working out of the eye. Clement will hand it off on the draw. And that'll be more than enough for a first down, as Corey Clement has been impressive. Clement has not skipped a beat filling in for P.J. James.
No, and I think what's been said is he really looks at the hole and he really knows where to run. And I think that's a big plus with him and why he's going to become maybe even a better back.
Well, again, this is playing right into the hands of Glassboro. They would love to have a long drive here, allow their defense to recuperate and generate some momentum heading in to the fourth quarter. 1:15 left, out of the eye. The handoff, again, it's Clement, and he'll be wrapped up at about the 40-yard line. Another nice pickup, though. We'll call it about 7, so that'll bring up a 2nd down and 3.
Very solid open field tackle done by number 3. We'll watch it again. Watch his vision. Watch how he sees where he has to go. Good lead block by the fullback. Drummond, though, sheds the block. Nice open field tackle.
And Lamont Smith had an opportunity to eliminate Drummond. He did not. Otherwise, that play may have gone all the way.
Yeah, with Glassboro's backs, they only need a step.
Down to 35 seconds left. And a fumble. The ball is loose. And it looks like Glassboro will fall on the football. That may very well be the last play of this third quarter. We'll see.
Well, now it's 3rd, and it's going to be 4. 3rd and 4, and I think they are going to let it go and decide, let's do it for the next time.
And in fact, that is what will happen. We are through 3 quarters of play here at Glassboro High School. It's the Group 1 South Jersey semifinals. Glassboro trailing Pennsville 21-13. Stick around. Fourth quarter action coming right up. Welcome back to Glassboro High School. Fourth quarter just underway here. The first play of the fourth quarter, and we're going to have some movement. And Fred, I had said during the break, it seems like it's been 2 steps forward, 1 step back all night for Glassboro. This time 2 steps back, a fumble, and then a penalty.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the one thing that Pennsville has done a very, very good job in is preventing the big play, the home run play that Glassboro could do at any particular time. So we'll see what happens, but now it's 3rd and 9, so play calling becomes very interesting.
Well, again, Glassboro, we know how dangerous they are on the ground, but I've been impressed with Clement's arm strength, and he's had some receivers open. This may be the situation where, again, we've seen that little rollout where he's been effective, and they just kind of run a go pattern. Again, out of the eye. Smith in motion. Again, Clement rolls to his right. Has a man underneath, finds Smith, and it's caught.
And boy, you called that exactly on target, let me tell you. Great vision, great throw, great catch by Lamont Smith. Here we see it again. Nothing more than a quick play action pass, faked it to the fullback, faked the counter. So it was a counter waggle. And here is Clement sitting, looking, taking his time. Great ball, great catch.
Well defended as well by Pennsville's number 5, Ken Emmons, but despite that, a good throw keeps this Glassboro offense on the field. First down and 10 at the 49.
And that's where you were so right, because the receiver came all the way across the sidelines to make the catch, so you need a lot of time for that to happen.
And now there's some concerns as to how much time is remaining on the play clock, or I'm not sure, but Herb Nealio is not pleased. I think the question is, why is the clock stopped at this point? Because
the clock's been changed, we'll see, from 11:24 up to 11:47, so they put 23 seconds back on the clock. Right.
And now the clock continues to move. So it did not stop when they moved the chains. And now they'll get up there and they'll probably snap it at about 11:24.
That's exactly right. That's very good.
Out of the I formation. The handoff. And well defended, blown up immediately in the backfield by that Pennsville defense. A fine play made there by Pennsville's number 40. That, of course, is Anthony DeVito, the junior.
Yeah, great job out of the linebacker. He read the guard, he stepped right up and delivered the blow. Great job.
Second down. We'll call it 13. Again, ball's loose, but this time I believe the ground caused the fumble. It did. So really no gain on the play. And, you know, it's just you get that feeling that it's just so difficult to generate any momentum tonight for Glassboro.
Yes,
and,
I think
you know,
so.
Of course, some credit goes to the Pennsville defense, but let's face it, they've shot themselves in the foot plenty of times tonight.
That's a very, very good point. And I think what you've said before, probably the best play that Glassboro's been working all day is that roll out with the quarterback.
Right now, they're on the short side, so Clement would be forced to roll left should he roll against this throwing hand. Deep drop, Clement looking, throwing, and it's a jump ball, and it falls incomplete. Drummond in perfect position, and that will force Glassboro to punt it away.
Yeah, good decision by Coach Neilio. There's still 10 minutes to go in the game. You have plenty of time to stop Pennsville, and it's not like Pennsville's going to take 8 minutes off the clock.
Well, we mentioned before that the Glassboro offense at the very least needed to take some time and push this Pennsville team back a little bit and lengthen the field. They were successful in that, provided that they get away a good punt here. And Clement will punt it away. And that is almost blocked. A high kick. It's a boomer. And this will roll to about the 20-yard line. So 80 yards for a touchdown for the Eagles. They'll take over with 9:54 remaining in this fourth quarter from Glassboro High School. Pennsville in Group 1. This is uncharted territory for them. Pennsville has not been in a Group 1 final in some time.
Probably back in the 1980s.
Actually, according to my records
I think they were Group 2 then.
Okay, we'll take a look here. We have our handy stat guide. And the handoff to Hawthorne. And Hawthorne, not a whole lot there.
Well, one thing was shown right off the bat. Pennsville went to the run game, which indicates they want to try to run some time off the clock. We have an injury on the field. Looks like it's number 26 for Glassboro.
That is Zamir Green. Well, according to my notes here, Pennsville in 1981 was a Group 2 school. They defeated Haddon Township 6-0 and defeated the Hawks for the Group 2 South Jersey Championship. That ought to tell you that it's been some time since Pennsville has been to the promised land. Both of these football programs have not been the same since. Haddon Township has had their struggles, and now Pennsville is rising once again like a phoenix.
And let me tell you, Rob, the star player in that year for Pennsville was a guy named Bennett, who was a pretty decent baseball player when Pennsville went undefeated one year. So I think they called him Boo Bennett.
Boo Bennett. And again, Zamir Green shaken up. 9:42 remaining. We mentioned before that West Deptford also in Group 2 this year in Gloucester County, taking on Barnegat. They will face the winner of Willingboro and Haddonfield should the Eagles be victorious. Woodbury and Paulsboro on the other side of this Group 1 bracket So Gloucester County well represented once again. They always are.
Oh, it's amazing. Group 1 is always either Gloucester County, it's Tri-County, Colonial, the whole time. I can't imagine Woodbury beating Paulsboro 4 times in a row. Could never believe that could happen. And I'm sure Paulsboro and Glenn Howard are practicing right now to make sure it doesn't happen.
And Zamir Green comes off the game, or excuse me, comes off the field. And he's favoring, looks like his right leg. 2nd down and 8. Emmons again working out of the shotgun, and he'll audible. He'll hand off, and Hawthorne has nowhere to go. He is stopped immediately. A big, big play made by, that looked to be number 56 for the Bulldogs. That is Jordan Murray, the senior. And now you get a sense this crowd, who has really been on their hands all night, starting to wake up. 4 receivers set inside of 9 minutes. Emmons, we've seen him go to Hawthorne across the middle successfully in the same situation previously. Throws it up, looks for his man, and it falls incomplete. Good coverage as Colton Newsom had Clement draped all over him.
And Glassboro gets exactly what they want. A quick out by Pennsville, 3 and out total, and good field position probably to come along with it.
8-point differential. 8:46 left. And Herman will punt it away. Herman, again, it's a low end-over-end kick. He angles it towards the sideline wisely. And that's just a smart play by Herman.
Absolutely, because Glassboro can take the punt back anytime they want to do it. But if you're Glassboro, here's what you want. It's 6 minutes and, it's like 6 minutes and 33 seconds or 8 minutes and 33 seconds. One of those two that are coming up there. They've got the ball. It's a 1-score game. They just need to get down the field.
Ball spotted at the 44-yard line. 1st down and 10 for the Bulldogs. And again, we mentioned this before, P.J. James out of the game due to an ankle injury. He'd love to get back in there, but right now it's been the Clement show, both Corey and Steven. This time it's Corey, and he'll pick up about 5.
And again, exactly what you need to do. Just keep going forward. I think Glassboro, you've hit enough times, cannot afford the penalty or the mistake, which has been putting them back every time they drive the ball.
Russell Williams running the play in for the Bulldogs. 2nd and 5, ball on the 49-yard line. Clement again working out of the eye. As James split left, he'll hand it off. It's Corey Clement, still on his feet. Clement very close to a 1st down, and it looked like he just slipped trying to cut there. Otherwise, he may have been able to get outside, and that home run play that Pennsville has avoided
was close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, so while Herb Nero is getting everything set up for offense, somewhere in the back of the mind, you're putting together a 2-point play right now, because you're going to need not only the touchdown, but you're going to need that 2-point conversion. I think we're going to take some time in here for a measurement.
What do you think, Fred? You're on the line here.
Okay, this is going to be real tough. 1st down.
Okay, if you were Shawn, I would disagree, but I say I agree with you.
It's 2 chain links short.
That's one of those you can stick a credit card in between the two, and that's about it.
As John Candy once said, you're wrong again, Fred.
I can guarantee you John Candy could not have fit in between the
that's for sure.
chain and the football. 3rd down. We'll see if Clement keeps here. He does, and he'll have more than enough. You see a good look at that driving, powerful offensive line of the Bulldogs.
Yeah, great surge and no chance of fumble. First down. Here we go.
Ball at the 44-yard line. And again, we've said this before, Fred. Glassboro would like nothing more than a long drive, keep that vaunted Pennsville offense off of the field. We've seen how dangerous Emmons can be. Smith, split right. Clement with the handoff. And again, right now, Glassboro. Clement still on his feet, driving. Clement, and a penalty flag. A penalty flag. This play's probably coming back.
Boy, it's interesting. It just shows you coach offensive backs. Keep your legs moving, keep your legs moving, keep your legs moving. He did, but now we've got a huddle back at the 35-yard line to see what the penalty is. And it's a hold.
You know, it's funny because, you know, a lot of times you say, you know, if we wouldn't have held there, we would have had a touchdown. But conversely, sometimes it's because you held, you would have had a touchdown.
Let's take a look at it right here. We're going to take a look right here to see what transpired. Again, great vision here by Clement. You can just see him. He's protecting the ball. I don't know. You can see 76 turn around, and probably the official yelled at him, but it's hard to see in that.
Well, despite the fact it will not show up on the score sheet, a tremendous run by Corey Clement. He's been impressive spelling P.J. James, who is still on the sidelines with a bad ankle. First down and 10, so a spot foul makes it a 1st and 10, as if it never happened. Again, Clement still on his feet. Clement, and Hawthorne takes him down inside the 40.
Boy, very dangerous. That was just a straight dive play right at the tackle hole, and Clement just makes a 5-yard run look exciting.
And Clement looks like he's just gaining more confidence.
Yeah, I think right now a healthy Clement is probably better than a injured PJ.
And that's certainly Herb Nealio's thinking. 2nd down and 5. Smith, split left. Clement, and this time not much there.
And once again, Pennsville went to that. It's almost now an 8-man secondary, an 8-man front, and it's very, very difficult because it's almost like running against a goal line offense, or defense, excuse me.
3rd down at the 39, and again, Fred, you got to believe 4-down territory.
Absolutely. From now on out, there will be no punts.
5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this football game. High formation for Clement. Pitch. Clement looking for space, finding none, and he'll lose a couple of yards.
Well, our first huge 4th down, 4th quarter play.
Well, you saw Trent Hampton really clogging things up there, and Clement had nowhere to go.
Basically, the coach and field, P.J. James is back in the lineup. Basically, what you want to look at now is best back, best play, and know exactly how many yards you need to get the first down.
P.J. James has excellent hands, and that may be what you see here, using him in the flat. 4th down, 6 to go. Draw, and getting pressure. Clement finding space, has his man, it's caught! Towards the end zone, inside the 10, 5, touchdown! Antoine Alicea.
Just great job by Clement, waiting for a back to become open. His line gave him protection on the rollout. Here we go, 2-point conversion.
Well, it's interesting because P.J. James was in there to block. He missed his block, but you saw the athleticism of Clement finding space, and more importantly, finding Alicea a 40-yard touchdown pass. You mentioned before Pennsville has avoided the big play. Well, not this time, and
That's
now Glassboro will try to tie it up with a 2-point conversion.
It's interesting, too. James out of the lineup, Clement back into the lineup. And they're going to go to a strong slot back, so everybody's to the right side.
Rolling, Clement to his right, throws, has his man underneath, and it's good. We're tied at 21.
Great job of finding the end zone on that two-point conversion. He reached out with the ball to make sure he got in the end zone. He still got a lot of time left before overtime. We'll take a look at the touchdown again. Watch how Clement does a nice job, fakes to James. You're right, he misses his block. Down comes Clement, biding his time. Great peel back blocks. Wide open, 2 missed tackles, touchdown.
2 Eagles knocking each other out of the play. And Alicia ties it up for the Bulldogs. 4:24 remaining. And, you know, you can't help but think back to the end of that first half where Glassboro was inside the 5-yard line and time ran out.
And it also becomes very interesting now for Coach Wood and Pennsville, because with the game tied now, you go back to your offense. Here's the extra point we're going to say. Watch the effort that's done to get the ball into the end zone. Again, same type of roll action pass. Here's the pass delivered. Watch his effort. Boom, right in the end zone. Great job.
End over end kick, and that is taken by Newsom to the 30. Newsom still on his feet. Newsom driving. Newsom still pushing forward. Finally down at the 38-yard line. Good field position to start things for the Eagles. 4:14 left. You mentioned they can run their offense. They've been successful throwing the football, but one thing that we've seen is Glassboro's made an adjustment, really negating Hawthorne across the middle.
That's correct, and I think what you might see is Pennsville use the sidelines more, but the answer now is that there is a weapon still in Pennsville's arsenal, and that will be their field goal kicker, who we saw just barely miss from 36 yards.
Well, we mentioned before, Fred, this crowd has been virtually silent all night. Well, that's not the case any longer.
No, there's electricity in this crowd right now.
We're tied at 21. Pennsville shut out in the third quarter. They'll need a score in the fourth. Emmons throws, has his man across the middle, still on his feet, cut down at the 41-yard line. Dane Evans.
Great job, and actually they went to that quick post to the opposite side away from Hawthorne. Great catch and great throw. You know, the only thing that's funny is, you know, and I guess that is Pennsville has such a high-powered offense, they can actually score too quickly.
Well, I was going to say, I was thinking the same thing, but of course you may be getting ahead of yourself. They're going to call timeout here. This is one way to slow down the hurry-up offense.
Yeah, forget your mouthpiece.
Drop your mouthpiece, that's right. In fact, in college football, what the opposing team did to Oregon last week is they had players pretend to be injured, which there's no rule against in college football. First down and 10. Again, Emmons, who's been so impressive tonight, out of the shotgun, has avoided the interception all night. Emmons, again, it's that jump ball. Hawthorne, caught, and in and out of his hands.
Wow. Again, boy, that's one of those heartbreakers. We have an ISO right here on Hawthorne. Let's see what transpires. Releases down, makes his go cut. Boy, it's one-on-one coverage. Wow, great effort of putting that right arm up at the last second there by number 17, Sharif Thomas.
Well, Thomas got it up there a little bit early, I think, Fred, and got away with one. But nonetheless, second down, screenplay, set up nicely. And a penalty flag here. We may have an illegal man downfield. This play looks like it's coming back, but down the sideline, touchdown. But I believe this is coming back.
And I think it is too. The official just mentioned to the chain people to hold where they are. But the interesting point could be is if the pass was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, you can block downfield.
And this is what they're going to talk about. Was it behind the line of scrimmage?
Well, the decision's been made.
Holding. Pennsville. Holding. Glassboro.
Oh my, it's negated penalty again.
But I tell you what, that's a win for the Bulldogs.
Oh, absolutely. 6 points off on the board. So the interesting point is if they call holding on that, it means the receiver must have grabbed the shirt of the defender across the opposite side of the field. This is great. Look at that. This is great effort right here. Look at this move.
Well, again, you see just no wrapping up on defense, and that's a problem. Second down and 10, 3:34 left. Emmons again working out of the shotgun. Emmons throws, has his man underneath, it's caught, and a pickup of about 5 as he finds Colton Newsom.
You know, here's an interesting thing we talked about before, because I said there weren't going to be any more punts in the game. But if Pennsville doesn't get the first down here with the ball being about the 36-yard line, I think it would behoove them to punt the ball.
Now we'll see. That's an interesting call, should it happen. Emmons has his man Hawthorne. Hawthorne has one man to beat, stretches forward, and that'll be very, very close to a first down.
And I think I just answered my own question there with that quick pass. They're going to definitely go. Now, it's interesting. It's called first down. First down for Pennsville. I was going to say the chains were moving before they even indicated it.
Ball spotted at the 29. We saw Herman kick before from 36 yards, and he was about a yard shy. So at this point, they are very close to field goal position, as right now this would be a 36-yard field goal. We'll see if they run the football here. And a penalty flag, and we may have motion against the Eagles.
Boy, every yard down here is just so important. 5 yards back at 1st and 15 sure makes a difference.
Penalty is Pennsville. False start. First and 15.
You know, you wouldn't want this any different. This is the way to end a semifinal game.
Pennsville in control of the football with 2:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Emmons once again out of the shotgun with Hawthorne. Emmons, a deep drop, throws, has his man across the middle. A very small pickup, not back to the original line of scrimmage at about the 30 to 31 yard line. And again, they are content to own the football. Third down, no second down.
Yeah, I think they need 10 yards. I think they're going to need 10 yards to get in field goal position.
Emmons throws, has his man, it's Newsom. Newsom out of bounds. And again, that's going to be shy of the first down, so probably would have been wise for Newsom to stay in bounds there.
Use the clock, that's exactly right. Now it's very, very interesting because it's a good long 3, short 4 yards to go for the first down. So is it 4 down territory, or is it gain 1 and then kick the field goal?
And we'll see whether or not, if they go towards the middle of the field here, I think that'll give us an indication. Newsom now throws, has across the middle, picked off! Picked off!
Boy, Emmons got a little greedy, and he tried to go for the score right off the game, and a leaping interception by Glassboro. Watch this. Emmons took his time, sat, saw the receiver make a break for the goal, put the ball up with not a lot on it, and a great interception, leaping interception there for Glassboro, number 15.
Lamont Smith has had himself quite a game. And again, a critical interception. I mentioned before that Emmons has avoided the mistakes. And again, that's a critical one, as they are just on the verge of being in field goal territory. Glassboro with a long field here, 1:55 left. Will they run the ball and just try to go to overtime? And
well, it's almost a good thought, because it's hard. You don't want to make a mistake. That's the name of the game right now. I think that's what you're going to see. I think they feel very comfortable going into overtime.
Well, again, should they pick up little yardage here, I think Pennsville's likely to call timeout and try to score.
Yeah, I think so, because they would have to punt and get good field position, and with their offense, they can move the ball quickly. That's a very good point.
Second down and 10. Glassboro deep in their own end. Clement hands it off, and Corey Clement on his feet, and he's going to be shy of the first down.
I think you're right. I think Glassboro's, unless they get a first down here and the ball gets up to the 40, they're going to send it into overtime, because they certainly haven't made any indication to stop the clock.
At this point, neither coach wants to call timeout, and we are likely headed to overtime. 45 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter. Third down and short. Pennsville stacks the line. Handoff. It's Clement. And he'll bull his way over the Pennsville defense for a first down.
Well, this may change slightly, and I think Coach Nealio will look at the ball being out near the 30-yard line. You can start taking a couple chances. I think Pennsville's convinced now they're not going to be able to stop it. Glassboro has taken time out. We may see one of your famous roll passes and put it up for grabs.
And again, Fred, I think this is a situation where Nealio talks to his offense and specifically his quarterback and talks about good decision making, because an interception here could certainly change things in a hurry.
Yeah, I think he would tell him is, look, if nobody's open, don't force the ball, tuck it and run. The worst that can happen is we go to overtime.
On our home field.
Right. I think it's going to be easier for Glassboro to go 25 yards with a running offense than Pennsville, because Pennsville has to throw the football.
That's a good point, but another thing to keep in mind is Pennsville has a decided advantage in the field goal game.
That's really true. So if they get stopped on 4th and 8 or 9, they can kick for 3 instead of not giving anything. That's true. Now, if we really see Coach Nealio, if they try something like a hook and lateral or something like that at the end of the game, because sometimes this might be the place for it.
That's right. First down and 10. Clement working out of the shotgun. I'm surprised you don't have anyone playing center field out there for the Eagles. And now they'll drop back a little bit deeper, specifically Cruff. And Clement's just going to try to throw that home run ball, and we're going to have a penalty here.
Yeah, he really horse-collared him down when it came down. And there's your danger. I mean, they can run. Glassboro has some great runners. Watch when this play comes up again. We get a chance to see it. But looks like, looks like we got a flag back in Glassboro territory. Is this going to be another one of those offsetting penalties?
Yep. Remember, in high school football, it's a 15-yard penalty. It's not a spot foul. So, that, in reality, that's a good penalty. If you're not sure, take the penalty.
It's better than giving them 6 and losing the game, that's for sure. 32 seconds. Here we go.
First down and 10. Glassboro moving the football now at their own 43-yard line. Clement out of the shotgun once again. Has time. Again, going to throw deep. And it falls incomplete.
Oh, of course, all the fans want pass interference down at that particular call, but that was a ball up for grabs, and anybody had the right to go after the ball.
Again, that ball seemed to stay up there for an eternity. Clement fortunate not to have that picked off, as the Glassboro receiver did a nice job of playing basketball there, boxing out the defender.
And I agree with you. I'd be playing my free safety all the way back at about the 20-yard line, just in case he was caught that you could make the tackle. I see they're dropping him back now. He's back to the 40-yard line.
25 seconds remaining. Clement, again, will roll to his left. Now, getting chased out. Clement will dump, trying to find P.J. James. He finds him still on his feet. And he's cut down now at the 35-yard line. Clock stops as we move the change down to 15 seconds. Glassboro with just one timeout remaining.
And with Clement's arm, he's got a chance here to put that ball in the end zone.
Nealio burns his last timeout. Well, at this point, if they don't get a first down, it'll probably be their last play. So the one thing you want to be mindful of is you have to have a play here that doesn't take up too much time without any timeouts, should you run it over the middle.
Yeah, I think your options that you're looking right now is either run a play to the sidelines where we get out of time, or I think what they've shown everything so far today is they're going to take their best athletes, they're going to run them right down the field, and they're going to have Clement put the ball up and hope that they win the jump ball and win the game.
Well, right now the ball spot at the 35-yard line. So, again, this is a situation, if it's the last play, it's not a poor decision to just take a pass interference call if need be.
Yeah, that's really good sense. And you might see that happen if somebody gets by a Pennsville defender that they'll tackle him.
Because the ball would then be spotted at the 20, which would essentially be a 37-yard field goal. And frankly, I don't think Glassboro has that.
Well, we'll see what happens. Christian James is going out to the left, and P.J. James is going to go out to the slot. The last time they went out there, they ran the post wheel. Let's see if they do that today.
Again, Clement out of the shotgun. Emmons creeping up. He looks like he's going to blitz. He does. Put some pressure on. Here comes Emmons. Clements rolls, throws underneath, falls incomplete. We're down to 10 seconds.
And that was a very, very interesting deal because they ran a combo pattern hoping that everybody would suck to James, and they ran that quick out, deep out, I guess, about a 15-yard out to try to get someone in place. Now it's interesting because 10 seconds isn't a lot of time to play with.
Well, again, they had Emmons blitzing there, and I think that was wise because Clement had too much time previously, and that little bit of pressure, they'll probably have Emmons do the same thing. Again, one of the disadvantages here for Glassboro is that Clement, really very little room to operate to his throwing side, and should he roll to his left, that's very difficult to get much on that throw.
Again, the James is out, set to the left, so let's see what transpires.
Emmons will not blitz here. Clement with time,
Clement's
throws
wide open.
across the middle, incomplete. And
he was
Corey
wide open.
Clement was wide open and just did not extend enough for that ball. It looked catchable from here. Down to 6 seconds left, and at this point, Fred, you're probably going to have to go for the end zone.
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, great call. We used to call that a Mexico route because the receiver goes crosses the border and goes around, and it's usually not picked up because I think Glassboro in that situation saw that Emmons blitzed the last time, and that's the person that has to be responsible for that route. So, well, I think so too. Here, this is the old Big Ben play, everybody to the end zone.
Well, we saw it work last week in the NFL.
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
On a tipped pass.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Houston defended it properly in theory, but it ended up in a Jaguars man. We'll see if the Bulldogs can pull some magic themselves. 6 seconds left. Trips left for Clement. Clement back to pass. Throws it up. It's a jump ball. Hawthorne is there. In and out of the hands of the receiver. And we're going to overtime.
And I'll tell you exactly how you draw it up. He had a height advantage over the Pennsville defender and just couldn't come down with it. Christian James all the way down the field.
Well, we are knotted at 21. We'll head to overtime. We'll step away here from Glassboro High School. It is the Group 2 South Jersey.
Yeah, that's right.
Group 1 South Jersey semifinals. Welcome back to Glassboro High School. Overtime about to begin. Pennsville will start on offense. Emmons throws, has his man wide open, and that's inside the 10-yard line. Emmons finds Matt Drummond. So Pennsville will try to score first and put the pressure on this Glassboro defense. This Glassboro defense, Fred, has been outstanding.
Have not allowed Pennsville a point since quarter number 1. And you know what's also interesting now with the ball down where it is, it really restricts the spread offense that Pennsville runs. Let's see what happens.
Emmons with 1 running back and 4 receivers in the pattern. Emmons, he'll keep. Now finds a man underneath, falls incomplete. It looked like he was going to tuck it under, opted not to, and try to direct Matt Drummond. Drummond had his back to the play. Second down.
Yeah, and good coverage. Very good coverage by the deep backs from Glassboro, and smart decision by Emmons to ground that ball quickly. I'm just surprised they haven't used Hawthorne in this situation.
I was thinking the same thing. Again, Emmons throws, slant pattern, and converging on the play. It's Glassboro, and they come away with the interception.
Huge mistake. And as we said, sometimes these games are won not by breaks, but by mistakes, and just a bad throw that time by Edmonds.
Well, 2 interceptions at the end of the game have really hurt this Pennsville team.
Let's take a look at it right here. Oh, great break on the ball. Great break on the ball by the receiver. That's you know, I thought it was a bad pass. It was a good pass. It was just a great play by the defensive back.
That looked to be Sharif Smith. Well, it's 4 down territory now for Glassboro, so that's a decided advantage for them. They know that they have at least a tie in their back pocket. P.J. James in the backfield. And James with the football, with a lot of room here. P.J. James still on his feet, cuts across the grade. James cut down, 10-yard line, and now they may very well be in field goal range.
And I think Glassboro is just going to smell to go for the end zone. I think a little bit demoralized right now, Pennsville. They thought they were going to score, they didn't, and now their backs to the wall. It becomes goal line defense for Pennsville.
First down and goal. Smith again working out of the eye. 2 receivers split left. Clement directing traffic. It's P.J. James, and he's cut down immediately. Fine play made by Aaron Hands.
And Hands was one of the big performers last week against Audubon. He just shot the gap. As we said, it becomes difficult to run the ball inside here because everybody's in the gap.
There is a Pennsville player shaken up on the play.
I would almost
It looks like it's Emmons.
Oh, and that's a huge situation. Yes, it is.
And it may be his leg. He just pounded the ground as if he thinks that this may be it for him.
And remember the fact that he broke his fibula earlier in the season.
Well, the way they're
he's
letting
up.
him get up is a good sign, but he's going to go off gingerly.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised now to watch Glassboro go outside, run either a toss sweep to James or run that sweep to James, because I think they feel he can turn the corner.
And this is a situation, Fred, where you have to stay away from the penalty. We've seen that all night long. They have to stay disciplined here.
No holds. I think it's toss sweep coming to the right side.
Again, working out of the I formation, it's P.J. James, who's the deep back. Now hand it off to P.J. James. Strung outside. James looking, nowhere to go. And they'll get back to about the 10 or 9 yard line.
That was interesting in that because they run the counter. And the counter slows down. I guess they figured the linebackers with Emmons being out of there would not come into play. And
Emmons has come back into the game. He looks like he's about 50%, but he's a gamer.
And I'll tell you what, he is an outstanding high school wrestler also. So there's nothing that would he's probably told Coach Wood, there's no way I'm out of this game.
Third down now. Again, I formation. 2 receivers split right. Pitch, James trying to find space, so cut it back. James still on his feet. James cut down at the 10. Yes. And now, Fred, they are in field goal range, but this would be a very difficult angle.
And I think that's what Coach Neely is going to take a timeout and talk about it, but let's see. You know, interesting move because that was a toss sweep coming to the left. James saw nothing there, called it back, and Pennsville stayed at home and then, to their credit, made the tackle.
And it's going to be Clement to come on to attempt the field goal from the right hash mark.
And this may be the first field goal attempt of the year for Glassboro.
And we talked about this before in the pregame with Coach Neelio. He felt that Clement had about 35 yards in his foot. So certainly he should have the distance here. And the snap is no good. Clement still on his feet with the football. And now we'll just throw it up for grabs, and it's picked off. And that was one ugly play. And Glassboro will once again go on offense. I guess the good news for Glassboro is that nobody returned it the other way because the game would have ended.
Yeah, it's a good point. You know, that play had disaster written on it ever since the snap came on that one. But the good news is it doesn't lose the game for you. That's the best news. We'll go into overtime number 2. Now they should reverse, and Glassboro should get the ball first.
That's correct. I think Herb Neelio had visions of Garo Yepremian.
Oh, remember that? Throw it up in the air and let it get intercepted, and that's the only points that they scored against the Miami Dolphins. Well, I think it'll be interesting. They're putting the ball back to the 25-yard line, but it was always my assumption that you reversed and now Glassboro went on offense first.
Well, Glassboro will certainly go on offense. The only question is
Which end of the field?
correct. Again, and this is where Pennsville has the decided edge in with their kicking game. If they can hold Glassboro here, it's only going to be a field goal. But again, you know, Glassboro will take over on offense. So you have Pennsville, who's probably a little spent in terms of playing defense.
But at least in their situation now, and you are right, at least now if they give up a score, it's not the end of the game like it was last time.
All right, first down from the 25-yard line. Second series, we're still tied at 21. Information, P.J. James still in the football game. He'll get the handoff, and P.J. James now swings, cuts back inside. James about 4, and that was not how they designed it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was wondering what kind of play they were running at the time they were going to hand the ball back between each other. But it still gains a few yards, and in this situation, it doesn't matter what happens as long as you get the first down.
And again, at this point, it's going to be 4-down territory. You got to stop them on 4 plays when you're this far out. Glassboro may opt to go for a field goal once again, but not from this distance. Second down, we'll call it about 5 yards. Ball spotted at the 20-yard line. 2 receivers, split left for Clement.
Fullback.
James avoiding the first tackle, a second, a third, and now cut down. But what an effort by P.J. James. That really changes the complexion of this third down play.
Yeah, very, very exciting 4-yard gain or 5-yard gain on the play. 3rd and 3 is very manageable.
And James, he's slow coming off, so.
But I'll tell you what, going to Clement isn't such a bad idea.
No, I was going to say, there's not much of a drop-off, if any, what we've seen tonight. 3rd down and 3. Huge play here for this Pennsville defense. Out of the eye. Clement hands off, and Clement on his feet towards the end zone. Touchdown!
Outstanding run by Clement. Great vision, great cuts.
Well,
advantage Glassboro.
Now we look ahead. This extra point is critical.
Yeah, I agree, and that's if they get it, it puts Pennsville in a very unique situation of whether they want to win the game or send it into overtime number 3, because they have to score now.
They have been unsuccessful on 1 extra point attempt and 1 field goal attempt. Kick is up, and the kick, no good. No good, misses left.
Well, that's a huge maneuver right there, because now Pennsville only has to do is score and get the extra point.
And that gives a little boost to this Pennsville offense.
That's a very, very good point, because things hadn't been going well for them, and I agree.
Well, Emmons has an opportunity to make amends after 2 interceptions. No one will remember that tomorrow.
That's for sure.
If he throws a touchdown pass here. One thing to keep an eye on, Fred, is they've really gotten away from using Hawthorne.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Watch this touchdown play again. Watch the vision that's done by Clement. Steps up, great cutback. Cut again. Oh, he could have scored in 2-hand touch.
Well, it looked like both Hampton and Cruft had opportunities. Emmons throws it up again, another jump ball here. Hawthorne, and well defended. Again, that's a play where they may have had success with that throughout the season, but they're not playing Glassboro throughout the season.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the defender is Christian James is right there with him every step of the way. Now it's interesting because now we're 2nd and long.
It just seems like a wasted down. 2nd down and 10. Again, Hawthorne now in the backfield, along with Cruft and Emmons. Emmons, screen, Hawthorne on his feet. Hawthorne to about the 20.
Well, the
3rd down and 5.
Yeah, the good news is you're still in reachable territory with 3rd and 5. The bad news is it's still 5 yards to go. So
I like the play call, though.
I did too. I think they figured that Glassboro would really come after him.
Emmons with a lot of room to his left. Remember, his mobility will be limited as a result of that injury. 3rd down and 5. Emmons getting pressure. Emmons brought down at the 25. 4th down now and 10.
And you may have said a very interesting point because he didn't move around much in the pocket. He stood right directly in the pocket. There was nobody open. Timeout being taken by Pennsville. This is the season right here.
Again, I kind of thought that they may have handed the ball off to Hawthorne there. Again, they had gone pass. We've seen very little of Hawthorne. They opted to go to the air, and now they are forced to gain a minimum of 10 yards here.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. So the Hawthorne run is going away. Now you're going to run some type of a deep pattern. Now, whether they have enough room to operate, whether they'll go back to that post again, it's been successful one way or the other, that'll be interesting to see. But I would have definitely, I thought I was impressed with Hawthorne when he ran a couple of those sweeps of how he did it. Whatever, there's a better than average chance the game's going to be decided on this play.
Well, Emmons working on a short field here on the right hash mark. 4th down. Hawthorne split deep, or wide left I should say, and in the slot it's Drummond. Emmons back to pass, gets pressure, throws it up, and nobody home but Bulldogs. Glassboro has won. They will advance to the Group 1 championship game.
Outstanding effort by the secondary of Glassboro. And even when they were down 21-7, they never, ever quit. So Glassboro makes another appearance in the South Jersey sectional championship game.
Well, it was a tremendous game, and again, you really have to credit this Glassboro defense shutting out Pennsville for the last 3 quarters and 2 series in overtime. Many people will talk about the vaunted Glassboro offense, but for all intents and purposes, it was the defense that really kept this team in the game.
And I will tell you, but I'll tell you, we also have to give a tremendous pat on the back to the Eagles from Pennsville. They just fought tooth and nail the entire game. They gave everything they had out on the field, and sometimes you just end up on the wrong end of the scoreboard.
Your final score from Glassboro High School. The Bulldogs of Glassboro victorious 27-21 over Pennsville. They will face the winner of Woodbury and Paulsboro. For my partner, Fred Schwartz, my director, Stan Ritter, and our outstanding crew, I am Rob Christ. Thank you for joining us. Good night, everybody.